Welcome to the Senior Community Center Something to Talk About program. Today we're going to be talking about Kitsap Transit, BI Ride, and other ways that you can get around without getting in your car with Sanjay Bhatt from Kitsap Transit. But I want to start by mentioning that Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island is an underwriting sponsor for these programs. They offer memory care and now independent living as well, and they'll be opening assisted living units in August. They also offer day stay and respite programs. To learn more or to schedule a tour, call 360-594-1010. They're up on Rolling Bay. And I'm here with Jillian Bull, who's just here at the center, and we're going to be chatting with Sanjay. Thank you all for joining us today. Especially thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Reed, and thank you to the BI Senior Community Center for all the great work you all do in the community. We're honored to have the opportunity to share with you some information about our BI Ride service. Can you hear me okay? I always ask in this new tech-mediated world, I want to make sure you can hear me.
You're coming through loud and clear. Very nice.
Excellent. So I'm kind of open to keeping this, interactive and flexible. I was thinking I would just give a very brief overview of our BI Ride service and talk a little bit about how it works in conjunction with our fixed route service, and then we can take a quick tour of the Pingo app and then take questions. Does that sound like a reasonable format?
That sounds great to me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Great.
We'll go that way.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. If you go to kitsaptransit.com/BIRide, you will see this web page. And it's we took our BI Ride page and kind of redesigned it for a new campaign that we're kicking off this month in partnership with the city of Bainbridge Island. And our motto is carefree, car-free. You don't have to drive to enjoy Bainbridge. Another saying we have is that independence feels good. And for folks who either don't want to drive or can't drive, our BI Ride service, along with our fixed route service, gives you some options for traveling around the island. So our BI Ride service operates during those hours when our fixed routes service is not operating. So weekdays, BI Ride operates from 8:45 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And on Saturdays, it operates from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, our BI Ride operates only on the island. So if you're trying to get to Polesbo or Silverdale or what have you, then you'll need to look at our fixed route service, like the Route 390, which travels throughout the day between Bainbridge and Polesbo. But if you're trying to get somewhere on the island during these hours, BI Ride is an option for you to consider. You can book the ride one of two ways. You can call us at this phone number here, 1-844-424-7433. Anytime between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and speak to a real human being and book your ride. Now, it does get pretty busy, especially during the summertime. So we also offer the Ride Pingo app, where you can actually book your ride through the app, and it can potentially be quicker for you that way. The Pingo app is a free mobile app for either Apple or Android devices. And one of the advantages of using the Pingo app is that you can actually track your ride in real time on a map, and you can also pay for the ride through the app. If you don't have cash, or if you don't have an Orca card, you can just put a credit card in and pay for it that way. We'll talk a little bit more about using the app. The other thing I want to mention is that just recently we reintroduced what we call timed stops. Now, years ago, before COVID, classic BI Ride operated with 3 timed stops: the ferry terminal, Blodell, and Linwood Center. And these time stops were kind of like a fixed route bus schedule where the bus departed from those stops at certain times and you rode the bus to where you needed to get. We've reintroduced this concept, but slightly different. We have 2 timed stops that we started in June. One is at the ferry terminal and the other one is at a bus stops along Winslow Way in front of Town and Country Market and Calico Toy Shop. These timed stops basically allow you to get on the bus without having booked your ride ahead of time in the app or through the call center. So this is beneficial for folks who are getting off the ferry terminal and all they need to do is just get to Winslow Way. They don't want to have to walk uphill to the light, or for folks who are in Winslow Way and just want to get back to the ferry terminal. Now you still have to pay the fare. It's still $2 fare. But if you are a Medicare card holder, it's $1. And if you're under the age of 19, it's free. We, like other transit agencies in the Puget Sound region, offer free fare for youth under the age of 19. And on all of our services, if you're a Medicare card holder, it's $1. The other thing I just wanted to share real quickly is that sometimes we get complaints that, well, BI Ride doesn't work for me because you don't serve my area. And it is true, there are certain roads that we can't go down because the roads have to allow for our 40-foot buses to turn around. We operate the service with a mixture of big buses and smaller kind of shuttle buses, I'll call them. But because we don't know which bus is going to potentially be operating the route, the roads have to allow for our operators to turn the bus around. And that decision is not made by me, it's made by our operations department. So if you click on the map on our website, you should see right now a blown up map. And the areas that are in gray are not served by our buses. Most of those gray areas are basically park shorelines and things like that. But there are some areas like on the south side of the island where we just can't take our buses down the roads. For the most part, you can see that we serve the vast majority of Bainbridge Island. And of course, if you have any question as to whether we serve your area, you can always call us, or you can try and put your address into the app.
Looks like maybe you do though go up to Fort Ward.
Yes, we do go to Fort Ward. And that actually brings me to another interesting point. We've been working closely with the Bainbridge Island Parks and Recreation District. We are the platinum sponsor of this year's Sounds of Summer concert series, which is every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8:30 at Battle Point Park. So you should come out. It's a free concert. But the thing I wanted to share is that we are working on trying to give parks users a little bit more information or certainty about where they should wait for the bus, because some of our parks are so big, like the Grand Forest or Fort Ward, that it's a little unclear as to where the bus can pick up or drop off. So that's one of the things that we're working on, is providing that kind of detail. We also have just recently printed our brochures, and I just want to touch on those very quickly. This is a PDF, so it obviously is not folded like you would see at a rack. But basically, the main change that we've made is inside the brochure, we highlight both our BI ride service and our routed bus service. Now, why are we doing this? Well, we heard the concern from the various members of the community that they felt like at 3:30 it was like Cinderella, like, their coach turned into a pumpkin and they had no way to get back home. So we basically wanted to make it very clear on how to get back to the ferry terminal and the Winslow area when BI ride service shuts down on weekdays at 3:30. And it's pretty clear, we hope now, that starting in the afternoons, when you are outside of the core Winslow area, if you need to get back, we list all of our fixed routes here, the 93, the 94, the 95. You can see them on your screen. And you basically just flag down the bus along its route, and the bus will stop as long as it's a safe and reasonable, distance from where you are. And then you can get on the bus and pay your fare and get back to downtown. The reason we don't really have timed stops out in the outlying areas is just that there's not really enough demand, at least that we've seen. So that's why we ask people to wave down the bus. You can also call our routed customer service if you don't know which bus might be coming down the road that you're on, and they can help you with that. Or you can download our Kitsap Transit Tracker app, which allows you to see the real-time position of our fixed route buses on a map. And once again, it's the same fares as BI Ride. And then the only other thing I just wanted to mention is that we also had these really handy wallet cards printed, and I'm happy to drop some off at the senior center if you'd like some. They just fit in your wallet, and they show you what the hours of service are for BI Ride. There is a QR code there on the left to get to the webpage that has more information. And then on the back, it gives you the list of all the fixed routes and where they approximately go on the island. For example, if you like to go to the Grand Forest, the 95 Battle Point might be the one for you. Or if you like to go to Bainbridge, the number 96, or the Bainbridge Gardens might be the 106. So these are just kind of handy to have in case, in case you find yourself not having, not remembering which route or what time of day. The last thing I'll just cover real quick is the Pingo app, and then I'll take some questions. So let me pull up the app. So what I did was I took some recordings of the app last Friday, and I didn't have time to kind of edit it. So you'll just kind of be getting a little bit of a unvarnished look here. But can everyone see that?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, so when you open the app, it will basically look like this. This is the new logo for the Pingo app. The company changed their branding, so it looks like this now. And it will open to a home screen that asks you whether you want to. Now, this is after you've downloaded it and set up your account. If you've never used it before, then I would encourage you to go to our BI Ride page, and there's two buttons there, one for Apple and the other for Android. You download the app, you create a new account. After you've done that, it'll ask you if you want to allow a ride notification, which will make your phone vibrate or buzz when your ride is arriving, which is kind of nice to have that feature. And then it'll ask you kind of where are you going, and you kind of either type in an address, or you can add a favorite destination, so that if you say go to the BI Rec Center once a week for an aerobics class, or if you like to meet a friend for a book club once a week at the library, or what have you, you can actually make those favorite destinations so that when you go into the app, you don't have to repeat this process. You just tap on the location. So like I like to go to Bainbridge Park, so I have Bainbridge as one of my destinations in the app. I always recommend that you type in an address or the name of the landmark. Don't just rely on the GPS to plug in your current location, because as we all know, the cellular networks on the island are prone to error, and you may think you're waiting in the right spot for the bus, but the bus driver has slightly different GPS coordinates that were provided by the cellular tower, and you won't see the bus driver and the driver won't see you. So always put in your actual address or the landmark, which could be like the ferry dock or Bainbridge Ferry Terminal or, Blodell Reserve or what have you. And then basically, you can add in your payment options. So you can put in a credit card, or you can just select in-vehicle payment, which could mean you're paying with cash or an Orca card. And then in this case, I was going to the Grand Forest, and it will give you options. This is what the makers of the app call Pingo Journey. So the first option is BI Ride, and that will show up during the hours that it's in service. You'll see on the phone here, I was using this at 2:45 p.m. So it's about 45 minutes before BI Ride service ends. But it'll also show you below that your fixed route options. So if I didn't want to take the BI Ride, and if I have a little bit more time, then you could actually take the Route 95 or the Route 93. And so these are just, this is a nice option that's in the app that you can use. And finally, when you're in the app, you can select, what time you're leaving, how many seats you're booking for. Maybe you're booking for you and a friend, so you would change this to 2. And then you click on the request ride button, and then it will basically evaluate the routes. Now, let's say I wanted to pre-book this. You can pre-book up to 7 days in advance. So I would change the leave now to leave in the future, and it will take you to a screen to reserve a ride in the future. And you select what day. And in this case, I selected Monday, the 17th, and it told me that that wasn't available, as you can see there. So then I selected the 18th, and that slot was available at 8:45 in the morning. And then you confirm that, and it basically allows you to book ahead of time. So then you request that ride, and it gives you a confirmation. It'll ask you to confirm your pickup location and your drop-off location, and then your ride is booked. And so those are the main things I just wanted to show. I'll take questions. And I know that was a lot in a short amount of time, but I hope that made sense.
I have a question. So you just have to be sure once you're at Bainbridge, you can get back, right? Because when do the fixed rides end?
The fixed rides are commuter routes, and so
Right.
so
if you took that,
go ahead. Sorry.
so you said you got to Bainbridge. So how are you going to get home?
Right. So I will share that our BI ride will operate till about 3:30, and then after that, our if you're at Bainbridge, let me share my screen again. So if you're at Bainbridge, you're looking at riding the number 96 Sunrise. And we have our fixed route schedules on our website. So the Sunrise here operates until about 7 p.m. The last, and you can see the route here that it follows in the afternoons, the PM trips. And so it goes right along Sunrise Drive. You can see here, Bainbridge is right up here. And so you would want to call our customer service. That number is right here on the wallet card. It's also in the brochure, and let them know that you're trying to get back to Winslow on the 96, and they can let dispatch know. Or if you actually see the bus, you can flag down the bus driver and just be sure that you're on the appropriate side of the street in the direction in which the bus is going.
And Sanjay, you said that you might drop off some of these little helpful cards here. And you mentioned at the beginning that you're working with the city of Bainbridge Island, and over the weekend, you may have received this in your mailbox from the city. And there's a lovely outline of exactly how the routes work here too.
That's right. And also the Parks District, their new catalog is coming out, and there's a lovely map on the back page of that catalog that actually overlays the fixed routes, the BI ride all together in one map. So you can see hopefully all the information in one place.
So are there any other questions about BI Ride and fixed routes? Anita?
Oh, yes, thank you. So I'm trying to understand. So I have figured out how I can get to Blodell. But can I make a reservation before I ever get there so they know I want to come back, return? Or do I have to call once I'm at Blodell? I'm a little confused about that.
Yeah, so you can call us to try and request, we call it pre-booking. There's a limited number of pre-book slots because it's an on-demand service. But there is, you can certainly call our phone number and request a pickup. Let's say do you have some time of mind where you're planning to, depart Blodell to go back, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock? If it's in that kind of time period, you can ask for a pickup from BI Ride. The other option is if you're planning to stay a little bit later than that. I'm just pulling this up on my screen. Starting in June, we actually created a time point at Blodell for the number 94, which serves that part of the island. And so you can actually catch the number 94 at the Blodell Reserve bus stop at 4:07, 4:57, 5:52 p.m. and 6:52 p.m. And it expresses back to the ferry terminal and the Winslow area.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
And before that, if I wanted to leave like at 3 o'clock, then is there also a bus? Is it stopping automatically or?
No,
just...
you would have to book a BI ride at 3 o'clock, but I will tell you that's one of the busiest times for the BI ride. And I'm hearing something on the line, but I think that, if you want to ride at 3 o'clock, your best bet is to try to pre-book that. But if there are no slots left, then you can try an on-demand, or you can try to catch the 94 that picks up at 4:07.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Are the schedules somewhere? Are they on the ferry or at the ferry terminal, or where do I see the different fixed schedules? Where do I find those?
Yeah, so there's 2 or 3 locations there's multiple locations where you can get them. Let me share my screen again. Sherry, if you're looking for a printed copy, we distribute the schedules to the Bainbridge Ferry Terminal, the library, the Safeway, and I'm not sure if we've sent some to the senior center or not, Reed, but we're happy to send you a bundle.
What we have is this
Okay.
flyer and this flyer.
Okay. We'll get you some of the North Kitsap booklets, but the other option you have, Sherry, is from our home screen here. You'll see the ride tab. You see that ride tab here in the left. If you click on that, it has routed buses, and you click on that. And right here it says you can download the North Kitsap guide, and you can click on that, and it'll download a PDF. So that's one option if you want to have a PDF that's got all those things. What that PDF will look like, it will look like this. And it's very important that you look in the upper right corner, that date. It will say kind of the date that these schedules are effective. We change our schedules 4 times a year. Typically it's spring, summer, fall, and winter. So right now we're in the summer period. The other place you can go if you want to just kind of bookmark this link, I'm going to go back to our homepage. So kitsaptransit.com. And if you click on the ride tab, and then you go to system maps, and you click on the Bainbridge Island system map. This is that same map that Reed, I think, was showing earlier, but it's a list of all of our routes serving Bainbridge Island, and these are all hyperlinked to the schedules. So you can click on the one that serves your area, and you can look on the map to see which route serves your part of the island. And let's say you're on the south side of the island, and I click on the 99 bill point, and it'll bring up the schedule here. And if you have any questions, our customer service team can potentially help you with planning your trip and just helping you figure out, which routes you need to take.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And I'll just add that we are doing some outreach at the farmers market on Saturdays. We were there this past Saturday, and we'll be at the farmers market on a Saturday in August. I can't remember offhand which date it is, but also encourage you to stop by when we're at the concert series on Wednesdays or the farmers market on Saturdays.
And I see in this flyer from Kobe Connects that everybody should have gotten on Bainbridge, that there's a note that you also offer travel training if you want to learn how to plan a trip, if you want to do this with one-on-one help.
Yes, we do have a travel trainer, and she is one person for the whole county, but we do have someone available to actually literally just walk with you on a trip and help you if you need that assistance.
I also would note that we have some folks here who help out with technical issues. And if you're trying to figure out how to download something onto your smartphone, and it seems like the phone's being smarter than you, you can try to schedule some time with one of our folks, volunteers here, and see if that helps.
And I will say that too, we want to hear, what issues or concerns you're having either with the service or with the app, because we're always continuously trying to improve. And so don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're seeing some weird activity in the app and or it's confusing or what have you.
Yeah, I just had an experience, which I will get back to the team about. I was trying to save the senior center address, and it got me all the way through and couldn't save it. So I'll play around with that and talk to somebody on the phone to see if we can figure that out. Jillian, did you have anything you wanted to ask about? Okay. I did have somebody ask me a question, not related directly to this, but to access, which is another way that you can get around if you meet some requirements, right, Sanjay?
Yeah, so our access service is you have to kind of pre-qualify for that. And if you would like to apply and see if you're eligible for that, you would just go to our homepage here, kitsaptransit.com. You click on the ride tab, and then you click on the access and van link tile. And then you see here it says access, learn more. And you would click on that learn more tab. And then there's an eligibility application form there that you would fill out. And that is a kind of door-to-door service for folks who are too frail to ride our other services. But it's important to also note that for folks who are access eligible, they are 100% eligible to ride our other services. So typically access trips have to be booked, I believe, at least 24 hours in advance. And that can be, limiting for people who, don't want to wait to go to the grocery store. And so for those folks, if they're able to take a BI ride, we've given them some independence. So I hope that answers your question.
I would say probably the biggest advantage for access is if you live in one of those gray areas, it's possible that access might be able to reach you if you can't get out to somewhere where you could catch the bus. Rita, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I was gonna say on the access, I live up in Westport, Madison, and I'm a mile off the road. And I asked before, and maybe I misunderstood. I thought someone said that I couldn't even consider using access service unless I was at least 80 years old. And or maybe if I broke my leg, I could.
I would say that, I mean, there are age requirements or disability requirements. And so that's something that you would need to check on, and he's showing right now what those requirements are. 80 years old or older with no disabilities, 60 and 79 who are transportation disadvantaged, who live a quarter mile from the nearest fixed route and have no other means of getting to a bus stop. So that would be some information, and you could apply and find out whether you qualify.
Right. And I have to admit, I'm not an access expert, so I would defer to whatever our access staff shares, but I've put a link to the access eligibility in the Zoom chat.
And if you're watching this after the call on YouTube, just look in the link down below the description area. I'll put that link in there. Anita, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was wondering, so I have an Orca card. Where do I put more money on the card as it depletes? I know we're in Seattle, but I don't know on Bainbridge where to put money on it. Is it at the ferries terminal, or where can I do that?
Yeah, so at the Bainbridge Ferry Terminal, we have an Orca vending machine next to the bike barn. And so just like in Seattle, my understanding is that you could go to that Orca machine at the bike barn, put in your Orca card and add value to it. The other way you can do that is online. If you go to myorca.com and you would log into your account, and there you can add value to the card. Our customer service team is happy to walk you through how to do that as well, if you're unfamiliar with how to do that. And lastly, if you happen to go to Bremerton, you could stop by our customer service office and we could do that for you in person.
Okay, thanks. All right, I do have another question for you. Another place I want to learn how to get to is Barn. And walking, I know there's lots of bus stops along Madison. Since I don't know yet what time I'd want to go and what time I'd want to come back, is there a frequent bus service that goes along Madison? Is that something you've been covering already, or where would I get that information?
So I guess what I would refer you to there is to look at our North Kitsap. There's two options for you. It just really depends on the time of day. So, if it's early in the morning or in the late afternoon, it would be taking there are a couple of bus routes that go along Madison. If I recall correctly, the Barn is near New Brooklyn Road.
That's correct. It's New Brooklyn and Madison.
Okay, so it also depends, Anita, on how much walking you're willing to do. So like the number 93, it goes between High School Road and along New Brooklyn. And it runs between, let me see here, 4 in the morning, 4:40 in the morning and up till about 8:30 in the morning. And then it starts up at 3:45 in the afternoon and runs till about 7 p.m. Obviously, a lot of these barn classes are midday. And so for that, BI Ride is going to be your best bet. And BI Ride does not stop at each of those bus stops. It functions more like an Uber pool. A lot of people have this misconception that the BI Ride is like a cab, and it's not. It's a ride share. And so it's going to stop and pick up other people along the way if they've booked a ride. So that's just something to keep in mind in terms of your expectations of how long the trip should take. But I would just say, Anita, that when you do figure out what time you want to take your trips, reach out to our customer service folks at 360-373-2877 if it's a fixed route. And if it's a BI ride and you want to book the BI ride, then it's 844-424-7433. And the reason there's two different phone numbers is the BI ride is managed by our access group and the fixed routes are under our routed group.
Okay, thank you.
And you may find that you may find that you get on a bus that says access when you're on BI Ride, right?
Yeah, because it's these buses are expensive assets, so we're trying to make the best use of them, and we don't want them just sitting around. So in between our access pickups and appointments, we use them for BI Ride. We also will just use them when we, when they're in service. When can we have the option of a round trip? Someone's asking. Unfortunately, with our we've had this question raised before, because it's an on-demand service and we're using this app. There's not like a round trip option in the app. I can certainly encourage you to call our customer service, BI Ride customer service, and see if you can book them separately. The other option you can try to do is try to book 2 one-way trips within the app. So you can say in the app, I'm trying to go from this place to this place, and I want to schedule that return trip first, and then book the on-demand after that, if that makes sense. So for example, if you're trying to go from Winslow to say Fay Bainbridge, and it's 10 in the morning and you plan to leave Fay Bainbridge at noon, maybe try to schedule the return trip as a pre-book at noon. I want to be picked up at Fay Bainbridge and brought back to Winslow. Once that's booked, then book your on-demand now from Winslow to Fay Bainbridge. That's the workaround I would suggest you try.
Thank you. Lots of information here. This is going to be a video worth rewatching. Thank you, Sanjay. I think that unless there are no more questions, I want to thank you for your time. And as we said, there are some general materials about the BI Ride in Pingo at the Senior Center. And also there's, I hope to get some fixed route schedules. And also there are the schedules that are on the website.
Yes, and you're holding up our old BI Ride schedule, so I'll get you the new BI Ride brochure. And I would love to hear about your experiences. You can always email us at kitsapride@kitsaptransit.com. Thank you.